Please join me in giving Alta Segovia a warm Pachyderm Club welcome.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much to all of Pachyderm for inviting me to come here and talk a little bit about one of the things that I'm very passionate about, and that is Republican women in politics. Now, that isn't to say that I won't vote for a man. I vote for the candidate, whether it's male or female. But I think we all realize that women are not fairly represented in politics. And so it certainly is our desire that we look among ourselves and we find those women who have potential, who have leadership qualities, and that we support them and that we build them up and we help them take their position in the elected official arena, both at the local, state, and national level. Wouldn't you agree? All right. Those were some of the national people. These are our local women here. We have quite a group. We've actually grown in the last 12 months from 28 members to 48 members, and that's just the members. We also have a classification of associate members. Our associate members are our men. So yes, there are lots of men in this room right now that are members of Republican Women United. An associate member has a voice but no vote. It's one time that we can reign over them. And we do appreciate our men. So if you are sitting here and you are not of the female persuasion, and you still think after this that you would like to come and visit us, please do. You're not going to be alone. At least about a third of our total membership is men. So feel free to come, all right? This is March, and it is the month of women in history, right? Today actually is the International Women's Day. So I think we should start with a little bit of history about women. In the beginning, God made Adam, and then he made Eve. You don't want me to go back that far? Okay, well, we'll move it ahead a little bit then. Actually, women have been organized, Republican women have been organized and have been working in politics to get Republican people elected for a very long time. As a matter of fact, we had organized here in Kansas before we were even given the chance to vote. So that's really something, if you're willing to organize and help before they'll even let you have a vote on it. So in 1938, Marion E. Martin, assistant chairman of the RNC at the time, invited 11 states who had Republican women's clubs to meet at the Palmer House in Chicago. The delegates were adopted, the rules governing the establishment were voted on, and the National Federation of Republican Women, you can't hear? The National Federation of Republican Women was founded. Now that was in 1938. Do you have a guess when Kansas actually formed their Kansas Federation? In 1930. So we were even ahead of the game at that time. So you can be real proud of that. The National Federation of Republican Women is very important. They actually have a seat at the RNC. I'm sure most of you didn't know that. We don't have a vote though, and that's by our choice. We are affiliated with them, but we are not a part of them. So we still go to the meetings, we still have input. Why did we choose not to have a vote? Well, good question. And it was because we don't want to have to do the kind of political fundraising reporting. So as long as we're not a part of them, we can raise funds, we can give our funds where we want to, and we don't have to do that reporting. So that kind of gives us a special edge, wouldn't you think? It does. The seal up here is very important to us. It has the eagle. All of us know that the eagle is known as the American bird. It champions us. He has a quill in his mouth, and that quill is the pin of democracy. The eagle is sitting on the ballot box, and that is something that needs to be protected. Today, more than ever, our ballot box is being challenged, and we need to work towards making it safe. Rona McDaniel, she's familiar to all of us. She's been a member of a NFRW club for many, many years. So this just shows you the kind of people that are members at the national level. We have a campaign management school. We are very, very interested in training our women to take their spot on the political arena. We empower people from all backgrounds. When you come to our club, I know you hear this expression a lot, it's a white man's club. Well, it's not. When you come to our club, you're going to see women of all nationalities, all colors, all races. We welcome all Republicans. One thing's important to know is what your mission is. I think a few months ago, we actually had a speaker here and asked what the Pachyderm mission was, and she was quite astounded that everyone didn't know it. Well, our mission is providing ongoing education for our members and providing opportunities to be involved in the American political process at all levels of government. Our objectives to inform the public through political and legislative education, training, and activity. We recruit, train, and elect Republican candidates. We protect the integrity of our electoral process, and that is under fire today more than ever. Promote the principles and objectives and policies of the Republican Party. Each of our members receives a directory, and in it, it has the KFRW policies as well as why we're Republicans. That is something that we must always, always be. Thank you. We unite and facilitate cooperation among the state and club organizations, and we increase the effectiveness of women at all levels of government. Is there anyone here who feels that there is a position in all of the political realms, local, state, national, that a woman, if she is trained, educated, and has a passion for it, that she couldn't fulfill just as much as a man? I don't think so. Thank you. These are the KFRW purposes. I'm not going to read them to you, but you can run through them. We read these at every single meeting, not as a group, but we have someone read them. It's important that we stay on track. The Kansas Federation of Republican Women is such a support for all of us in our local clubs. They provide the training, the education, and the resource that we need in order to be effective on the local level. Some of the things that they provide for us are other ways than just at the election box for us to be effective. One of the things that we have is a committee called Caring for America. 2 years ago, our Caring for America provided for the collection and distribution of personal care items for our women who were abused. We took basket after basket of personal care items that were donated by our members to one of the local places that take care of women who are affected by domestic abuse. This year and next year, our focus is on reading for success. All of us know how important it is that children learn to read. They say if you learn to read up until the 3rd grade, and from the 3rd grade on, you read to learn. So we are volunteering in schools, churches, preschools, all of these places so that children can have an opportunity to learn to read. We're not just looking to be an elected official, get our name out there, our face on a poster. We want to be effective in our community. If we're not effective in our community, we don't become a part of it, an integral part of it, then what good are we? We are a grassroots organization, and that's where we need to be. We need to be bringing that to the forefront. We have an achievement award committee. There are ways that we can receive achievements. That is tracked. One of the things that we also do is volunteer. And one of the things that we do to volunteer is we work on campaign trails. This year, I know personally that I, with my husband and sometimes my granddaughters, were in 6 different parades. Some of our women were even in more parades. One time, Mark and I even tried to make 2 parades in one day. If you do that, you may get a speeding ticket. That had to come out of my allowance. When we volunteer, we try to keep track of how many hours that we are, because people, you need to validate how effective that you are. We track our hours for 2 years at a time because our conventions are biennial. From July 2015 to June of 2017, NFRW, all across the nation, volunteered more than 5.4 million hours. That's a lot of hours for our candidates. Thank you. If you multiply that by $10 an hour, that's $54 million. You mention those figures, those hours to any candidate, and he's going to be impressed and he's going to be looking for you. I can guarantee you. This year, this summer, my phone didn't stop ringing. I was getting text messages at 6 o'clock in the morning from candidates saying, Alta, I've got 4 precincts that haven't even been touched. Can you get me somebody? I know that when my members saw my phone number up, they were all rolling their eyes and going, seriously, Alta, again? But we did it. We did it all summer long. We have one member, Patty Winokur. Patty, raise your hand. Patty traveled so many miles, it's unbelievable. She was going down to Sumner and Cowley County and helping Cheryl Helmer, one of our members who was elected. That's right. Patty actually knew the area so well that when she and I went down there to attend their county meeting, she was telling me who lived at what farm and who had what cow and when they were going to be putting in their crops. And I'm going, Patty, how long were you down here? So she really got to know her people really, really well. One of the things that we try to do is to get our clubs to be integrated into all of the areas that aren't well represented. I know that, there are some areas that just seem like they always have, nobody runs against the Democrat. So we need to have the strength there. Well, along with Patty and Cheryl, I went down to Sumner and Cowley County, got the ladies together, and now we actually have the newest club in the United States, the newest Republican women's club in the state. It's called Sunflower Republican Women, and they are going to be championing for Sumner and Cowley County. So I'm really happy about that. And I know the politicians in that area are too. Our theme is, there's a place for you at our table. So we man the phone banks. We show up. I know that we were outside the campaign office this summer whenever they brought the bus by. So we not only man the phone banks, but we knock on doors. We put out signs. There you go. Come on, ladies. And we walk the neighborhoods. It's not just that we are giving lip service to what we do. We also celebrate, but we are not a social club by any means. These women came to my home, and I am state chairman for the Armed Services Committee. We want to always recognize and support our armed services. So we collected all kinds of food items, decorations, and that, and we filled over 50, I think it was, stockings. We had 25 or 30 personal gift bags, and then we actually ended up with 2 extra boxes that were for the community. We took them out to the McConnell Air Force Base, and one of our members actually is retired from the Air Force. And so Laura Adkins and her husband Chad made arrangements for our boxes to actually be put on a C-130, I think that's what it's called, and was taken to Wichita Airmen where they were out of country for Christmas. So thank you so much, Laura, for all your help. We don't do this just at Christmas. We support our soldiers all the time. So that's something that's very important about us. When we get together, what can you expect when you come to a meeting? Well, you can expect to have a friendly face, a handshake, maybe even a hug. I go for the hugs. But you can also look forward to hearing some pretty wonderful speakers. In January, we celebrated our 10th anniversary, there we go, of being chartered here in Wichita. And we had Senator Wagle come and speak. That was really quite a coup. I think it was her first public speaking engagement in 2019, and she wanted to do it for us. We were very happy for that. In April, we are going to have our legislative update. Our legislators from District 4 have been invited. I think 9 or 10 have already said yes. So if you come on April 13th to the Wichita Area Builders Association, you will be able to visit with your legislator. We're also going to have a hot topics roundtable, so there'll be a few topics that they'll be talking about then. We also will be having a pancake breakfast that morning, so be sure to come out. Tomorrow is our monthly meeting, and because it is the month of women, we are doing our annual Women in Leadership, and we have 2 wonderful speakers. When I say women are come in all ages, and we are very fortunate to have JROTC Cadet Colonel Natalie Knowles from Derby coming. She is a senior in high school, and she has become a leader in her ROTC group. She has earned a scholarship because of her efforts and will be attending OU. Boomer. Oh, come on. We also are going to have Hazel Stabler. Now, I don't know if that name is familiar to you, but Hazel is a member of our club. She is known all over the United States as being one of the premier designers of Native American costumes for their dances and their ceremonies, and she has promised that she'll even wear one. So looking forward to that. We always want to validate women. In May, we're going to have a special time. Bob Weeks is going to, where'd you go, Bob? There he is. Bob is going to be joining us with a couple of city council people, and we're going to be addressing those issues that he just mentioned earlier. So when you come to our meetings, you're going to have a chance to get one-on-one, some FaceTime with those that are making the decisions that affect your life here in Wichita and in Kansas. So it's important that you know that we have some relevant speakers and that we are effective in this. This picture here I'm particularly proud of. We also celebrate our wins, and so when we had our Sedgwick County party to celebrate the win this last November, we were the ones that helped go in and decorate it, so it was a lot of fun for that. You know, when we work together, we're stronger. But who are these women that actually make up Republican women? Well, they could be your sister. They could be your wife. They could be your mother. They could be judges. They could be business owners. They could be stay-at-home moms. They could be potential elected officials. They could be retired. They could be stay-at-home moms. All of these are the faces of the Republican women who are changing the face of Republican politics. Let's give them a hand. One of the things that we are particularly excited to celebrate as women is the 19th centennial celebration of women getting the right to vote. We have Lori Graham with us here today, and she is the executive director. Do you want to say a few words? Okay. We are going to be celebrating the centennial anniversary of women getting the right to vote, and Lori will tell you a little bit more about it.
Another name that you probably know that's on this board of the celebration is Kathy Lineweaver. She's the president. So on your tables, there's some flyers. I didn't bring enough for every table, so share if you can. And this is just an informational about it. August 13th through the 15th in 2020 is the official Kansas celebration. There are proclamations that were unanimously passed in the State House and Senate, proclaiming our organization and those dates for the official celebration. We're going to be going out through the whole state and doing some exciting parades and tea parties and doing fundraising and all kinds of great stuff between now and then. To get the word out, we've got a documentary in process with some Kansans that now live in New York City that are filmmakers. They're going to be doing a documentary on how Kansas women brought the right to vote, how they participated in the process. We also have, I don't know if you guys know, we have the first woman mayor that was ever elected, and it was before anybody had the right to vote. She was actually put on the ballot as a joke, and she won. And she was actually asked to serve a second term, but she decided being a mom was more important to her. So this is going to be really exciting. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. If you look inside here, we have a donor card. The first 20 donors at the founders level will not only get the standard 2 tickets to the Outstanding Kansas Women Awards banquet and the 2 tickets to the the Centennial Banquet, but you'll also get a beautiful brooch that looks like this logo, and a choice of a men's tie or a women's scarf. So we're trying to get the first 20 founders donors going. So there's a card in here that you can give to your friend, and then also, nope, these are old. There's also, so if you can fill that out and send it in, that would be great. Anyway, any other questions you have?
Nope, but if you
All right,
have
thank
your
you.
checkbook, you're welcome to write a check today.
And
you
I'll
won't
take
have,
it.
and it'll save you that stamp that just went up in price.
That's right,
Won't
and the
you do that?
envelope. I will.
Yes, she would do that. She would do that. Thank you, thank you. One of the things that I neglected to mention earlier is that the National Federation of Republican Women has their offices in Norfolk, Virginia. They purchased a house that was on the National Historical Register, and when they purchased it, it actually needed some repairs. So each of the states had their fundraisers, and they raised money. Well, what they got to do is they got to select the room in the house that they wanted to have renovated. Well, I cannot wait until I go and I use the sunflower powder room on the 2nd floor. It actually, I'm told, is very, very nice. I'm delighted that you have had me come here to talk about our club. I hope I've given you some of the enthusiasm, some of the goals, some of the energy that we have in our club. You will not be disappointed if you come to visit us. We welcome, like I said, men and women alike. We try to give you some good hot coffee. Patty takes care of that too. I don't know what I would do without her. It's just important that we work together. It's not just the Sedgwick County Republican Party. It's not just Pachyderm. It's not just the Republican Women United. But it's all of us working together, sharing information, sharing education, sharing our goals, sharing the work that it takes to keep Republican in office. It's very important. Once you lose that, once you have a Democrat in office and their goals, their ideals take root, it's very hard to gain that back. So I would just ask all of you, please support your Republican organizations, attend the meetings, attend the fundraisers, and most of all, when they ask for your help, to volunteer, no matter what it is, give it some thought, give it some consideration. It may not mean much to you, but it means a lot to us as a whole. If you just take one stick of bamboo, you can break it. But if you have several together, it's impossible. And it's the same way with us. As long as we stick together, we support Republican values, we support those who are championing in our place when we can't serve, that's going to make the difference. So it's everyone's responsibility, not just those who go to Topeka, not just those who go to Washington, but it's our responsibility to see that they are elected, they're supported, and that we keep our communication open with them. Am I right? I am. Our logo says right here, this is a table, and there's a place for you at our table. I would invite you to come join us tomorrow, the second Saturday in April, the first Saturday in May. I've told you a little bit about our speakers. We would love to have you join us, see what we're about, and then become one of those sticks of bamboo so that we can't be broken. Thank you. Sure. You have a question? Does anybody have a question?
Put your hand up, please, and we'll try to get to everybody. Thanks for bringing us that message and sharing with us. I know that you've grown the club quite a bit, or the organization quite a bit. What have you done to recruit them, and do you have a specific approach to recruiting young women who are maybe just at the beginning of their understanding of being involved?
Thank you. That's a great question. What do we do to help recruit women? Well, we do several things. One, we do have the campaign school. We also give them encouragement. You are actually sitting in front of one of our members, and she's going to be running for school board, Miss Trish Heilman. We provide a resource for them by giving them written material, the opportunity to attend campaign schools, and also by pairing them up with other elected women in office so that they can learn that process that they go through. Campaign analytics is something that we are very much concentrating on this next year. For those of you who don't know what campaign analytics are, that's what wins an election. It really is. You can knock on 100 doors, but if you're not knocking on the right doors, if you're not speaking to the right people, then your campaign's not going to be successful. And you're not going to need to knock on the door of someone who votes Republican every single time in every single election. You need to be going to those people who are swing voters. You need to be going to those that are undecided. And those are the things that we try to teach our people.
Yes, thank you for your organization and everything that you do. I think you're a counterbalance to what used to be a very prominent organization, the League of Women Voters, and they've taken positions on things like abortion that is contrary to the Republican Party, so I'm glad that we have you to turn to.
Thank you.
Yeah, and on that regard, you guys take positions in the, along with the party platform and so on. Now, are you guys aware of what's going on with Jerry Moran right now, and are you guys doing anything with that? He's trying to side with the Democrats against Trump on the emergency wall thing. So that might be something you'd want to put on your phone tree.
Well, actually, we have been in communication with Senator Moran's office, and in June, we here, the Republican Women United, will be hosting the 1st and 4th District KFRW clubs, and we have asked Senator Moran to be our guest speaker. So we will get to talk to him personally if he accepts that invitation. Now, one of the other things that we do is we are email fanatics. So when you join our club, you're given a directory. It's got the name, the district, the email at their office, whether it's Topeka or Washington. We've got their phone numbers, and we encourage our people to call and write emails and let them know how we feel. If they're going to represent us, they've got to know how we feel. They've got to know what our questions are, and they need to be responsive to that. And I think at our last meeting, I actually said, look, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not calling, they're not going to know how you feel. And if you're calling and they're not returning your call, let me know. Because 9 times out of 10, they take my call. Right, Leo?
Last thing,
He's been chased down in the hall before. It's her. Come get this phone call. I don't want to talk to her.
last thing, could you just tell the men in the group how much it costs to join as an existing member?
Absolutely. Women have full voting rights, all of the rights to the educational programs and that, and their dues are $40. That also includes their very wonderful magnetic name badge. Men can join for $25. Come on, guys, $25? You can't go out and eat for that. And you get 12 months of wonderful speakers, wonderful fellowship, and you can be paired up to go walk some of those neighborhoods with us.
I appreciate your being here today because I had no idea what you're, how well organized you are. And my question isn't directly to your club, but I wish somebody could tell me when we allowed people to vote by mail instead of in person, because that's it's an open thing to be involved. There's no way to know who actually cast that ballot, and I wonder what it takes to get that changed.
Well, I'm not sure when it started, but I will tell you that my husband was in the military. He retired last year, August 1, with 30 years. Thank you. 2 years ago, sorry. And as we moved around, one of the first things, even though I'm a mortgage broker and had a company, my son has run it for years, so I've been kind of free to do some other things. One of the first things I always did was I went to the election office and said, hey, need any help? And they always said yes. So I spent a year and a half at Sedgwick County's election office. Tabitha Lehman is she is absolutely the best election commissioner I have ever worked with, and that includes Dallas, Texas, St. Louis, Missouri, or Tulsa, Oklahoma. When we get our ballots in, one of the things that I was tasked to do with another person was to look at those ballots. We had to pull up on the computer that signature. If we had any question that was not their signature, we put it aside. We called the voter. We asked them about it. And I can't tell you how many times we actually had people tell us, well, that's actually my daughter's, but she's away at college, and yeah, I'm sorry, ma'am, this isn't going to work. So we're not going to turn you in for voter fraud. We're just going to mail another ballot to your daughter. Would you please give us her address and college? We had lots of things like that happen. We also got our ears full, too, because that was not what they wanted. But I will tell you, here in Sedgwick County, even the signatures on petitions, every single signature was verified against the signature that was scanned in the office. Actually, we have Rebecca here, and Rebecca Davis was one of the election commissioners when I worked there. Do you know when that started in Kansas, when we started accepting mail-in?
I don't know when it started, but I will say that if the signatures don't match, it will go to the county commission, and they all get a photocopy of the signature and the signature we have on file from the application, and they vote yes or no whether to count those, whether they be this an actual signature.
Right. If we had a question, yeah, this doesn't look right, but if we knew definitely this was not the right signature, we did follow up on it. So, yes.
Thank you so much for sharing today.
Thank you.
One of those, I'd like to thank you for all the women who came out and worked all the campaigns. So once we get through the campaign cycle, what I'd like to know is, as a community and as an elected body, what can we do to support your Republican women when we're outside that campaign cycle where you guys are working so hard for us?
Well, thank you. One of the things you can do is come to our meetings and become an associate member. We like that. Men sometimes do the heavy lifting, as we always say, and that means getting the supplies out of the car and getting those set up. But one of the main things that you can do is when we do bring a female candidate to the forefront, take her under your wing. Don't be argumentative. Don't be jealous that we're there. Look at it as someone who has a different opinion. So support for our elected officials, or those that are going to campaign school and are throwing their name in the hat. Be supportive of them.
Behind you, Bob. Way back there.
Thank you, Judy. She's always looking out for me. That's Judy Park over here, and she is one of the founding members, charter members of Republican Women United, and was president for very many years and has taken me under her wing, and that's probably why I can do what I can do now. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you. My question is just simple, and it was in regards to just what you indicated there about the signatures. I think there is a bill that either went in last session or is coming to the table. I don't know if it made it out of committee, but Senator Olita Faust-Goudreau, I think she introduced a bill, something that will, if signatures don't match, or that a benefactor, a child of the voter, or someone of the voter, I think that's coming to the table. What are your thoughts on that? Do you have a position, or do you have innovative thoughts that what would the 21st century model of the Republican position be? Thank you.
I'm not sure I understood exactly what was the bill that she presented. I'm not familiar with that.
I know about it.
And maybe she can speak to
Yeah,
the bill.
Rebecca?
Someone might know better than
I didn't understand what you were saying about
There's something coming to in the legislature.
in Topeka?
Correct.
Okay.
That is in the works, or went in last session, or will be in this session, in pertaining to what you just previously spoke about.
Leo, do you know anything about this? Okay.
It's a bill that would expand the time that a voter has to come into the office and prove that that's their signature. So
Oh.
it's giving them more time. It's giving them more time to come in and approve and show that that was their signature with their photo ID. So that's a good thing. The election commissioners is all for it, work for it, because we need to count, those votes if they are legit.
Exactly.
And there are things that can cause, as people get more elderly, their signature changes over time. We usually don't question those because you can see every year their signature changes just a little bit. But when it goes abruptly change from one to another, that's when it's flagged. And either they can come in, be notified that they can come in and prove that it's their signature, or it will go before the county commission for a vote.
All right, thank you. All of you are aware of H.R. 1. I think that's what's being sent on Capitol Hill, and that is not something that I can support at all. I just really don't think we need people registering to vote the day of. I don't know, did you not hear any of the news that an election was going on and you just heard about it the night before, so you came in to register? That's not enough time for us to get the identification verified and make this happen. So I think we're looking at a lot of problems if we do that. Anyone else?
I have one right here.
Yes.
Thank you for all the work you do. How can Ben help you guys out? Can we sign up over the internet? Is there,
Oh.
we write a check today?
You can write a check today. Sophie, woo! I like this man. Sophie Trevino. Sophie Sawyer right here is our membership chair. She's my very capable first vice president in charge of membership. But we would love to have you. It's $25. If your name and address is on there, we'll take it. We'll fill out the paperwork. And then come by tomorrow morning. Saturday at Wichita Area Builders Association at 9:30. We have complimentary breakfast casserole, fruits, cinnamon rolls fresh out of the oven. There actually is an oven there, people. I love it. And some good coffee, and participate in our first meeting. But that's wonderful. Sophie, you saw him, right? Make a line. Make a line. The line forms to the right.
We
All
also
right.
take cash.
Cash we can take. Do you have...
I did not bring the square. I'll have the square Saturday if you want to make credit card or debit card.
Absolutely. Cash, check, or charge. That's it. Yes.
What
local or state level, does your group get involved in specific legislation? And if so, really need some help almost immediately with the Convention of States resolution to limit the federal government.
We would love to have you come and speak to us, and we are involved at all levels.
Committee hearing is next week.
What?
Committee hearing is next week.
What do you want us to do? We have we have some of our members who are very much in favor of the Convention of States. We have some that are not convinced yet. So you can,
Speak to your group.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, come tomorrow and we'll give you a fast 5. That's whenever somebody has a topic that's not on our agenda and we give them 5 minutes to talk to us. So there are some questions there, yes.
I can promise you Patty makes a great coffee.
She certainly does. Patty keeps us going.
She put out more yard signs than anybody else in the county. She makes great coffee.
She sure does. I don't know what I'd do. I have quite a few of my members here and my board. Could all of you just raise your hand for me? Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These are my sticks of bamboo that keep us all strong. And I will tell you, I can call any one of them, some of them as early as 5 a.m., Cheryl Helmer. And they're already up, second cup of coffee, what do you need, Alta? I can do it before I go in at 7, you know. So these are a great group of women to work with. If there aren't any other questions? Again, let me thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about our group. We'd love to have you join us, whether you join us formally or you just come to our meetings. We have something to offer. It is valuable, and we enjoy doing it. Thank you.